All right, everybody, welcome in to our Monday press conference with Coach Holgorsen. We've ready to take questions for you guys. Like as always, if you will use the right-hand tool on Zoom to get in the queue to ask questions, we'll get you going. First up today for Coach, we'll go to Mark Berman from Fox 26. Mark.
Thank you, Tyler. Good morning, Dana. How are you?
Good morning.
Okay. When you said parts of your game, like phases of your game, are unacceptable, is it a quick fix to get to acceptable? Go from that. How do you look at it at this point?
Yeah. It's not like it's been acceptable all year. Just points in the game were unacceptable. I mean, the way the second quarter ended. I mean, that's just bad ball all the way around. We played against a really good football team, which when you play against a top 10 team, I mean, they're going to make you look bad at times, so that's long-term stuff, just as far as we can't do things like that and beat a good football team. So, there's things that can be fixed. I mean, we're going to play our tail off here this week and go out there and, I expect us to play like we did in a couple of these other games this year.
You're referring to special teams and defense second quarter, correct? Into the second quarter?
Yeah, the kick was bad, and Bubba's been kicking the ball pretty well now. I mean, we got a lot of touchbacks, and ball placement is just incredibly important. And he lost it to the right, and then Ramsey went in and knocked it out of the end zone. So we got a couple of guys there that just need to compete for the playing time and for the kick. So that's what good teams can do. And then, just giving up 60 yards in 15 seconds I think would be unacceptable to every head coach across the country. At the end of the half, that just can't happen. And then, Pepe tried to make a play and on kick return and just lost the handle on it. A couple of bad things, but it's not like it was just a consistently bad thing time after time after time after time. I'm talking about an isolated incident on a poor kick and an isolated incident on bad ball security. Those units have been okay. So it's not a thing. We've played really good defense throughout the course of this year. We've done some good things. So it didn't have our best performance, but I got to go back to saying that we have to give our opponent a little bit of credit on that. I mean, they're a top 10 football team, and they force you to do some bad things at times. So still looking for consistency, but by no means is any of this stuff not fixable because it was just a couple of isolated incidents.
One other question. Do you have an update on some of your injured guys like Marquez and Peyton?
No, not yet. No, not yet. So would obviously like to get a couple of these guys back, but they're different. They're different game-changing people. You don't have Speedy, you don't have Peyton Turney, Donnie Mutin, Trayvon Bradley, guys like that. It sets you back, but got to line up and you got to line people up. You got to go play, and you got to play at those replacements got to play at a high level in order for you to win. Did that in spurts, but hopefully do it a little bit better this week.
Next up, James Mueller from the Daily Cougar. James.
Yeah, Dana, so the offense has struggled to get things going early in the first quarter throughout the season, but it hasn't been like y'all haven't been able to move the ball. Y'all typically are able to get it to midfield or so, and then the offense sort of stalls out. So what's the key to sort of getting over that hump and being able to sustain early drives and get those and turn those into points?
You talking about just the first quarter or offense in general?
Specifically the first quarter, because the team has not scored a ton in the first quarter this season.
Yeah, I keep talking about starting fast. I think there's an element of just settling into a game. We didn't do a whole lot of good stuff against Cincinnati. I'm going to go back to saying that our opponent has something to do with that. Those guys on defense were actually probably a little better than I thought they were. And we're talking about one of the top defenses in the country. So good news, we didn't screw anything up on offense, and we punted and we won field position. That was kind of expected. I was hoping to do the same thing to them, make them punt a couple more times. But I keep talking about starting fast. I keep talking about, settling in. I keep talking about preparation and having a good week of practice. I keep talking about starting fast and getting out there and, trying to move the ball, and then our guys got to get out there and they got to execute it better.
Next up, Rob Sellers from 247 Sports. Rob?
Thanks. Hey, Dana, I know you don't like to use injuries as an excuse for anything, but just personally in your time in coaching, have you ever seen a 2-year period where you've maybe lost as much in terms of quantity and quality?
Yeah, I haven't. I mean, 2020 is on a whole nother level, but, can't use that as an excuse. I mentioned this to the team. 2020's made people soft, gave them excuses not to do specific things. It can't happen in football. You make excuses in football, you get beat. So, it is what it is, man. I mean, guys go down. We're still building the roster. We're still gaining depth. We're still developing players. And as guys go down, guys got to step in and play. I don't know what else to say. Hopefully we do a little better job of that here this week.
Next up, David Barron from the Houston Chronicle. David?
Dana, to what degree do the teams that you're playing this year, have they developed their talent and made improvements that you didn't see coming going into the season that perhaps that your team is still struggling to do?
Well, I think we got to keep in mind that, this is, nobody wants to hear this because everybody wants quick fixes and they want to be great now. Okay, that's society in general. And, the University of Houston deserves this because we've been close within the last, 12 years, 15 years. We've been really close to being really, really, really good. I'm here to build it the right way for over the course of as much time as they allow me to be able to do it. You look at the teams that we've played, okay, and I mentioned this last week. Cincinnati's 5 years into Coach Fickell's tenure. They have a lot of seniors that have been in their program for 5 years. They're pretty dang good. Okay, BYU, Coach Satake's in 5 years into his program. They've built it the right way. They're old, they're mature, they're experienced, and they're doing things the right way. Even Central Florida, Coach Heupel's in his 3rd year. That's coming off of, the previous coach having a 12-0 season. They've been building things the right way. Okay, so we're going to get there, man, and hopefully we're going to take a step in the right direction here this weekend and go get an American Conference win. Getting things the right way does not happen overnight. I apologize for that. Our fans deserve wins. Our administration, demands wins, and that's going to happen. And we're going to try to get it done here this weekend to get a win here for the Cougars.
Next question goes back to James from Daily Cougar. James?
Yeah, Dana, so before the Cincinnati game, you talked about how Speedy's injury presented an opportunity for guys like Jeremy and Bryson to step up and take on a larger role in the receiving game. What did you see out of them Saturday in the game? And what do you think they need to do to continue to just sort of step up and become more more involved in the offense?
Well, you pretty much asked the question and answered it at the same time, James. So they need to keep playing and keep practicing, and good things will happen. Jeremy was rusty. He had a couple of drops and he slipped up a couple of times and left early. But, that's what happens when you miss a couple weeks. He was rusty. Bryson Smith did some good things, man. He blocked well, which I was happy for. He caught the ball well. Obviously made a Sports Center type catch over the middle. Their man coverage was exceptional, and he made a couple of plays, and I think he's gaining confidence, and he's going to continue to get better. I like where he's at right now. So somebody's going to run routes and catch balls, and those are two guys that are going to. Tank Dell's, made a couple of plays as well. Those guys are continuing to come along. I wish I could have threw it a little bit more. I mean, their front was good now. I mean, their front was good. I was trying not to get our quarterback killed by calling pass plays, and I know that frustrates you guys. It frustrates, the fan base. And when it's like, man, you guys are down by a couple of touchdowns, you need to start throwing the ball. Yeah, well, I'm still trying to protect my quarterback too. So we had some guys that would have been open, and we could have got the ball to him a little bit more. 100% confidence in Tune. I thought he bounced back, and his pocket presence was good. With that said, that pocket was closing down quick, and he couldn't get to his second and third read at times. That's just where we're at, and that's why we forced the run. I thought Kyle Porter ran hard, got tough yards, and against a really good front. That adds people to the box that can tackle at a high level. So we'll keep working at it and get there.
Back to Mark Berman.
Dana, what is your message to your team as you prepare for a South Florida team that's at the bottom of your conference? They're winless in the American. Going with an opponent like this.
Yeah, they are. They've lost some close ones. They about got Memphis at Memphis last week. About got Tulsa about got Temple at Temple a couple weeks ago. Played Cincinnati tough, 28-7. First-year program. They're playing a lot of guys. They got a lot of transfers. It's unique. They got a lot of small college transfers. Some of them were in the program when Coach Scott got there. They took some as well. They're no different than us. We're putting a lot of bodies out there that just need to continue to play and get better. So they're going to come in here. They've played well on the road. They're going to come in here and they're going to compete hard. They play hard. You look at their video and they play hard. They've been searching at quarterback. I think they probably found an answer. And the transfer kid from Holgorsen that came in, better be ready for a team that's going to come in and play hard and compete. At the end of the day, it's about us. It's about our development. It's about, us lining up and having a good week of practice and making sure it's important to us and practicing well and lining up and playing well. That's where we're at. We need to do that. We've played good in spurts. We've played subpar against elite competition in spurts. We need to stay the course, and we need to practice well and go out there and play well on Saturday.
All right, we'll take the last one for David Barron from the Chronicle. David?
Eddie, you mentioned several times the need to revamp the roster to get things in a way that you need to get them in terms of personnel and position groups. Are you farther along in that attempt and that effort than you are in terms of sort of reshaping minds and spirits and psyches in terms of the way that you would like your team to perform and to think?
Well, we had a practice last night, and I liked our energy. I mean, our guys understand where we're at. They know that we didn't meet the challenge of a top 10 football team last night. And went out there and we practiced hard, and then we kept all the young guys, the developmental guys, which was about 30 or 40 of them, and we practiced them for about 30 to 45 minutes, So there's some areas where I see future and I see hope. There's some areas where I don't. And you address that with recruiting. I got 25 spots on my board over here. We got 10 names up there that are all be joining the program in January or June. It's constant. It's a yearly thing, and it's constant development. It's constant looking at your roster and seeing what you need to bring in and continue to develop guys and continue to get guys better. So we're better now than we were a year ago. And a year from now, we'll be a lot better than we are right now.
All right, thanks everybody for joining us. We'll see you back here Wednesday for player availability. If you need anything, don't hesitate to reach out.